Welcome to this Explainer Masterclass. Today, we are completely cracking the code on Cambridge AS and A-Level Accounting 9706. Specifically, we are looking through the examiner's lens at a topic that appears in every single examination series without fail, books of prime entry. We're talking sales, purchases, returns journals, the cash book, and the general journal. If you want to know exactly where students bleed marks and how top-tier candidates secure those elusive A grades, you are in the exact right place. I'm your master coach, and to make this highly interactive, I've got two of my top scholars in our digital studio with us today. Say hi to Alex, our technical wizard who excels at the hard facts, and Sam, our creative thinker who's brilliant at building arguments. Alex, Sam, are you ready to dive into this? Let's get to work. I want you both and everyone watching to look at the digital interactive board. We've got a complex, high-tariff, 15-mark sample question up here. The first thing we have to do is master command word anatomy. There's a massive difference between analyze and evaluate. Explain is entirely different from to what extent. As I use my digital highlighter here, notice how isolating the command word instantly reveals the hidden constraints of the prompt. You can't just dump knowledge. You have to deploy it strategically.
Now look at this quote straight from the Principal Examiner report. It's a massive breakthrough strategy. Candidates referencing cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. Alex, what's the generic student approach here? Well, Coach, most students just treat it as a standalone chore, right? Just copying numbers from an invoice directly into a sales journal. Exactly, Alex. But the elite candidate? They don't just see isolated tasks. They see a web of causal relationships. Sam, how do you see it?
I see it as a huge puzzle. An entry in the purchases journal links directly to trade payables, and that literally cascades all the way into the statement of financial position.
Hit the nail on the head, Sam. They integrate syllabus areas. Viewers, if you want those top marks, you absolutely cannot view these journals in isolation. It's all connected.
Here is our highly structured roadmap for today's session. We'll master the core concepts, secure those method marks, break down critical analysis, reveal the top 3 examiner traps, and finally, build your ultimate exam strategy.
Section 1. Mastering Books of Prime Entry. Let's jump straight into the core concepts.
Okay, team. Let's step into our collaborative digital study suite. The foundation, the theoretical architecture of the books of prime entry rests on precise definitions. Alex, I know you love the factual approach. Absolutely, Coach. I focus on memorizing that the sales journal is strictly for credit sales, while cash sales belong in the cash book. It's all about precision. You're not wrong, Alex. Precision is key. But Sam, what's the broader perspective here? Well, I'd argue it's more about the causal relationships, like when you log a transaction in the general journal, maybe to correct an error or record depreciation, you aren't just writing something down. You're initiating a massive chain reaction that affects the entire accounting equation. Exactly. Both of you are right. But to unlock those top-tier marking bands, what Cambridge calls assessment objectives AO1, AO2, and AO3, you need both. The examiners are actively hunting for your ability to demonstrate this syllabus integration. You need Alex's technical facts combined with Sam's broader conceptual arguments.
So, this brings us to a really critical question. Why do students find multi-stage analysis and method marks so difficult to secure? Honestly, Coach, this is where I struggle, Alex admits. I get the final numerical answer right, but I still drop marks. It's so frustrating. I hear you, Alex. And it happens because candidates rush to find that final number. But Cambridge examiners aren't just calculators. They are rigorous auditors of your underlying logic. Sam, how does structure play into this?
I think if you skip steps, or if you fail to properly annotate a transfer from the returns inwards journal to the ledger, you completely break the chain of evidence.
Spot on. You have to prove your work at every single stage.
Section 2. Securing Essential Method Marks. Let's look at the procedural framework you need.
Take a look at this 2-column table. It outlines the incredibly strict conventions examiners demand: proper headings, correct terminology, appropriate formats, and clear annotations. Coach, this is literally my worst nightmare, Sam groans. I'm great at the big ideas, but I always mess up the structural precision and the timing. I know, Sam. But listen to me closely. These are not optional cosmetic choices. They are absolute, non-negotiable requirements. If you draft a cash book without explicitly distinguishing between the discount allowed and discount received columns, or if your general journal lacks a clear, concise narrative, you're just throwing away guaranteed method marks. The outcome of following this framework rigidly is that you secure those marks and demonstrate true professional skills. It proves to the examiner that you speak the language of accounting fluently.
So, the absolutely crucial takeaway here is the method mark strategy.
Marks are awarded for the process and systematic analysis. Let me say that again so it sinks in. The process. When you're analyzing a complex past paper problem, maybe a massive 3-column cash book with tricky contra entries, your methodology is what earns you the points. Wait, Alex jumps in. So even if I transpose a digit by accident and my final balance is totally off, I don't fail? Correct, Alex. A flawless, perfectly formatted process with the correct treatment of the transactions will salvage the vast majority of the marks. Show your work, use standard formats, and make your brilliant reasoning visible on the page.
Section 3. Critical and Comparative Analysis. It is time to start thinking exactly like an examiner.
Now, right before we solve the absolute hardest part of this problem on the board and look at evaluative thinking, I need to pause our session for a quick second. Crushing Cambridge exams requires a consistent, weekly strategy, not just last-minute cramming. So if you want to completely master these papers, you need to subscribe to the channel Ace the Exams IGCSE O&A Levels, which is at the handle at acetheexam_IGCSE. Hit that subscribe button right now and make sure you click the notification bell and enable all notifications so you never miss a single Cambridge breakthrough strategy we drop. You can see the animation on screen right now. Click subscribe, ring the bell. Okay, let's get back into it. Top scoring candidates deploy evaluative thinking. This isn't just about recording data. It is about aggressively questioning assumptions. If you're asked to evaluate the effectiveness of a petty cash book using the Impress system versus a standard cash book, you can't just list facts. You must consider different perspectives, like the time saved by the chief cashier versus the risk of minor fraud, and justify your decision with hard evidence from the scenario.
Let's look at how Alex and Sam are drafting a model response paragraph by paragraph on our shared screen. Alex types, both systems record cash. Sam adds, but the Impress system has a set limit. Okay, team, freeze. You've hit a major roadblock here regarding paragraph linking. Let me use the picture-in-picture feature to pause your session. What you're doing is just identifying basic similarities, but a top-tier candidate identifies similarities and differences. Watch as I rewrite this flawed section out loud. Instead of your basic sentences, we apply the paragraph balance formula. We write, both systems meticulously record cash transactions. However, conversely, the Impress system establishes a strict predetermined limit, which fundamentally enhances internal controls compared to a standard cash book. Do you see what I did there? I used comparative connectives, like however and conversely. I supported the comparison with evidence and drew a strong conclusion. When an examiner uses the command word evaluate, this flawless, full-mark transition is exactly what they are dying to see.
Section 4. Top 3 Examiner Traps. These are the direct principal examiner alerts you need to memorize.
Welcome to Act 4 of our masterclass, the interactive pause and practice visual workshop. I'm speaking directly to you, the viewer, right now. There are exactly 3 devastating mistakes that consistently strip candidates of an A grade when dealing with books of prime entry. I'm going to put a complex data analysis chart on the screen right now. Imagine a 60-second visual countdown timer ticking down. You have to spot these 3 traps before the time runs out. Let's break them down systematically. Here's visual question 2 on your screen. Spot the flaw. Look at this poorly written student answer. Trap number 1, using the wrong approach for the specific context. The student tried to force an adjustment for a bad debt recovery directly into the cash book when the context explicitly required a general journal entry first. Boom, marks lost. Trap number 2, forgetting format and presentation conventions. Look closely at the screen where I'm annotating. They skipped the dates, ignored the folios, and completely forgot the narrative in the journal entry. As Sam learned earlier, that destroys your structure. And trap number 3, the absolute most fatal trap of all, providing generic, textbook answers that have zero connection to the specific business scenario provided in the stimulus material.
This examiner alert reinforces that third trap perfectly. The classic mistake is providing generic answers. Always link every point to the given scenario. Alex, read that out for us one more time. In your head, context is everything. If the exam question is about a specific sole trader named Alex who is experiencing massive cash flow issues, your evaluation of their books of prime entry cannot just be generic theory. It must mention Alex by name, it must reference their specific liquidity problems, and it must cite their exact transaction history from the datasheet. A brilliant theoretical answer that fails to mention the source data will score barely any marks. The examiners are setting a trap to see if you are actually reading the scenario or just regurgitating a textbook. Don't fall for it.
Section 5, the ultimate exam strategy. It is time for our step-by-step execution battle plan. I am synthesizing this entire masterclass into 3 core memorable pillars for you to deploy on exam day. First, the 3-step question scan. You must deconstruct the question to isolate the command word, extract the relevant data, and select your analytical framework. Are you building a returns outwards journal or a multi-column cash book? Second, the paragraph balance formula. When you execute your answer, you must balance technical facts with evaluative arguments using comparative connectives. And finally, the third pillar, the last 5 minutes review checklist. This aligns with step 4 on your screen. You must verify your results and check your presentation. Did you include the narrative? Are your headings perfect? Did you use the correct terminology? Have you linked every single point back to the specific scenario?
Let's wrap this up. Alex, Sam, what are your personal breakthroughs today? For me, Coach, Alex says, it's realizing that method marks are about the chain of evidence, not just the final number. And for me, Sam adds, it's the paragraph balance formula. I finally know how to structure my evaluative arguments. Outstanding. Now, I want to leave you, the viewer, with this final provocative thought. Are you just memorizing account formats, or are you ready to deploy critical analysis to secure every possible method mark? The difference between a passing grade and an elite A grade in Cambridge accounting isn't just about balancing the books. It's about proving you deeply understand the architecture of the numbers. Crushing Cambridge exams requires this exact, consistent strategy. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button for Ace the Exam's IGCSE O and A levels at the handle @acetheexam_IGCSE. Turn on that notification bell right now for more exclusive exam hacks, and I want you to go down to the comments right now and tell me your target grade. Claim it, work for it, and I will see you in the next explainer.